Hi everybody, I'm Connie Baker and welcome back to Dear Therapist Connie. Glad to be with you guys today, and we're going to talk about some really, one of my favorite topics actually. How do I choose a good therapist? So our question today, I'm having people write in questions and ask, what have you always wanted to ask a therapist? So get on Therapist Connie Facebook page, message me, put it in the comment section somewhere. I'd love to hear from you. So, all right, here's our question for the day. I'm thinking about going to a counselor and have no idea how to choose a good therapist. Help, William. All right, William, let's chat. Boy, do I have some opinions about this. How do I choose a good therapist? You guys, it can be so daunting. I have been both a client and a therapist, and coming from the side of the client, it is so hard to say, what do I do? What do I look for? What's a good sign? What's a bad sign in choosing a therapist? I have a lot of confidence in most therapists, but as in any profession, there's some that's like, no, they're not doing a great job, and they're not helping, and even potentially they could hurt, and that's what you don't want. So let's talk for a minute. How do I choose a good therapist? William, there's a few things you're going to want to keep in mind. First of all, one of the first resources that I tell people to use is, do you know other people in therapy? Do you know other people who are going to counseling? Do they like who they're going to? What do they like? Give them a quick interview. Ask about, do you like your therapist? Are they helping? The other thing is, do you have any friends who are therapists? And again, check back one of my earlier Dear Therapist Connie. This can be psychologists, social workers, counselors, marriage and family therapists. So all of those are considered therapists. So do you have any friends that you could ask and say, do you have a good referral? I get those questions all the time from my friends saying, Connie, I'm thinking about counseling. Who could you recommend? And tell them kind of basically what issue you're dealing with. You don't have to be super personal, but somebody that another therapist has confidence in is fantastic. That's a good sign. So, okay, what I tell people sometimes that is always a little surprising, I think, to them, is shop around. Feel free to shop around. I've had people come into my office and say, I'm interviewing 2 or 3 therapists before I choose on one. And I'm like, oh, I wish everybody would do that. Shop around. If you have the time and resources available, it's so worth it. Who do you really click with? So always feel, if you have a therapist who gets a little offended about the fact that you're seeing somebody else to look and see who you're going to decide to go with long term, bad sign. Always, always, always shop around. It's wonderful. It's going to be your best bet because you're going to have to go with your gut. Okay. Also, quick note: the degree that the therapist has often doesn't really matter that much. My firm opinion, I got so many opinions about this one, about this whole topic. A good therapist is a good therapist. They got the raw material. And if you click with them, you click with them. So a degree, fine, whatever. I mean, you do want them licensed or on their way to licensure. Or sometimes you have a student intern, that's fine. If they're good, if they got the raw materials, they're great. So, okay. So now let's take a look. I'm going to give you a bunch of questions. William, here's the thing. I'm going to give a bunch of questions. Oh, hello. Hi there. Anyway, during the first session, here are the questions I want you to really ask. William, when you go in, I want you asking them while you're there in your mind and afterwards. Let's hit these. You ready? All right. First session, what did I feel like? That's huge. Check in with you. Was it a pleasant experience? Of course, you might be a little nervous. That's fine. Did you get less nervous as time went on? Did you get more at ease, or did you get more uptight, or was the whole experience just, if it left you feeling off kilter, or whoa, just what happened? Bad sign. Okay, what did it feel like? Do I like them? Do I like this person? Do I like this therapist? That is your core question right there. Do I like them as a human being? Because therapy is a human relationship. It's a professional one, absolutely, but it's also very human. Do you like them? So, important. Do I trust them? Oh my goodness. Check your gut on this. Do I trust this person? When you go in, William, that first time when you're in there, I want you to be thinking, do I trust this person? And of course, you're not going to know right at the beginning. But our system takes in millions of little cues about whether we trust a person or not. Now, one person might trust them, and that's fine. But if you don't, it's not going to work. So, do they seem knowledgeable? I've had people come and say, so I visited this therapist and went a couple times, and I felt like they had no idea what they were talking about. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. Oh, my goodness. Now, could they know what they were talking about and you misread it? Absolutely. Doesn't matter. If you don't have the confidence that they know what they're talking about, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work well. So do they seem knowledgeable? All right. Do I feel understood and heard? Oh, there again. Of course, I have many friends and acquaintances, and many of them have been to therapy and come back and tell me about their experiences. And, sometimes I'll say, oh my gosh, that person talked the whole time. Not a good sign. Do you feel heard? Do you feel understood? Or are you like, oh, that doesn't sound quite right. They're feeding me back stuff that doesn't sound like me. Okay, move on. Next therapist. So, okay, here's a fun one. Can I correct them? Are they willing to be corrected? I think this is important. There are times my clients, I'll say, it seems like blah, 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 blah. And they'll go, not really, Connie. Now, if I, as a therapist, am like, yeah, that is just, who wants to go to a therapist like that? Who? No one. So, can I correct them? Do they take in the information and you go, actually, no, it's not quite like that. And they go, oh, really? Great. Tell me what it's like. That is what you're looking for. You're looking for some humility, honestly. Looking for knowledgeable, but you're looking for the ability to be corrected and for them to learn. And that's part of being understood. So, do I feel safe? Oh my goodness, super important question. I'm thinking of you, William, as you're going there. Check your gut. Do you feel safe with this person? If you don't, it's not going to work. So, feel free to check in on that. All right, here's another one. Okay, I have so much fun with this topic. Are they even a little condescending? Even a little? Oh my goodness, this is huge. If you feel like you're being talked down to, if you feel like, no, if you feel like they're patronizing you, run. Don't internalize that and go, well, maybe I just didn't understand. No. It's not working. So, there again, do they feel even a little condescending? Do they seem collaborative? This is a high value for me personally as a therapist. I'm not there to do my clients' work for them. I'm not there to tell them what they should and should not be thinking, feeling, and doing. I want collaboration. And as a client, when I go to my therapist, I want collaboration. I want them to say, hey, are we working together well? Is this working? Both of us as a team? Are they collaborative? There again, important question right off the bat. And the last one is a little dicey, so let me read the question, but I think this is another important question. Are they willing to answer questions about how they do their practice and maybe even a little about their life? Now, before some of you therapists start freaking out, let me qualify this. I'm not going to answer detailed personal questions about my personal life. Not relevant to my client. But if my client says, I'm from this background, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about this topic? How do you view this topic? Okay, for instance, I work with a lot of women whose husbands have sexually acted out in some way. You need to be able to ask, how do you view this? What do you think about it? How do you look at this? this specific situation that I'm in? That is a very fair question. And if your counselor hedges and says, well, that's not really important, no, not okay. It's very important how they view it. We can never be, as therapists, we can never be completely values free. We try to be adaptable, but I have my own values. So it's important that I am transparent about how I'm viewing my client's situation, at least to a degree. I mean, there again, I know some of you therapists may be watching kind of freaking out. I'm not talking about a detailed analysis of how I'm viewing it, but basic transparency about how I view something like child rearing, divorce, a good marriage. Oh my goodness, those are fair questions. Okay, I've been chatting quite a while, but this topic is so close to my heart. William, thank you for asking this. I think this is so significant, and I get asked it a lot, and so I know it's out there. All right, you guys, have a great day. And if you, there again, check out both therapistconnie.com and Therapist Connie Facebook page. And especially on my Facebook page, send me some questions. I will love to hear from you on this. All right, you guys, hope you're well. Have a great Wednesday.